Those who pass through the doorway get somewhere, the doorway doesn't get anywhere. There are any number of fantastic stories in India, how women became mystics simply being dedicated to their husbands. So you are more emotionally competent than intellectually competent. I'm just trying to put it gently across to you. The problem in the spiritual path is just this. You are focused like this, then you see your destiny starts organizing itself in that direction. Devotion means you're organizing your emotion in such a way that it works for you, absolutely. Because it is only in emotion, it is only in moments of emotion have you touched the sweetest part of who you are, isn't it so?
The sadhana is essentially towards using your emotional intelligence. When we say emotional intelligence, today it's being identified in the world. Intellect tries to know everything by cutting it open, by dissection. Emotion knows things by embrace, by inclusion. Essentially, we are trying to do a little better than the monkeys. That's evolution. Yes. Your ability to live well is by your own innate nature, not because you're better than somebody. You don't have to prove that you're better than somebody. So the sadhana is essentially about this. Devotion means just that. Devotion is not about dissecting the divine, it's about dancing with the divine.
There are so many fantastic examples in India how women became mystics simply because of unidirectional emotion. Simply one. Did not even, alter for a moment. See, because of this nature of this education that you've been through, you believe you can focus your mind on something, but you cannot, isn't it? Hello? There are any number of fantastic stories in India, how women became mystics simply being dedicated to their husbands because they did not see him as a man. In India, this has been a practice, it's now gone of course, where they refer to the husband as Swami. And he also lived up to it. It needs corroboration. So when this was so, initial hormones are there, will act up and do certain things, emotions are there, they will act up and do certain things. After that, you're looking at him as a doorway to the beyond. And because everybody had some kind of spiritual training at one time, naturally they became guides for each other to grow. And largely from this kind of arrangement, it is thousands of women who became mystics, men did not become, because they were just doorways. Those who pass through the doorway get somewhere, the doorway doesn't get anywhere. The doorway is there only, people come and go, isn't it? So you're more emotionally competent than intellectually competent. I'm just trying to put it gently across to you. Hello? Is it okay? Ladies will say, okay, it's easy for them. Men are struggling, what? Can you keep your mind focused either on me or your husband or your wife or your children or your God or whatever, or even on your business or money? Can you keep your mind totally focused for 24 hours? Hello? No. So, this is the nature of your intellect right now. So if you want to train this intellect that it can stay like this, For long periods of time, that's fantastic, that'll need lots of work. But your emotion is capable of like that. There have been times in your life when you're emotionally very strong with somebody, 24 hours, only that, isn't it so? Has it happened or no? Whether you're a man or a woman, this is true for you, look at it and see. Maybe your love is not focused, but your anger at least is focused. That is an emotion. If you look at the temperature or the intensity, how many moments of your life have you known that kind of thought which is burning hot intensity? But you've seen such emotions, isn't it? Easier to crank up the intensity of your emotion than to crank up the intensity of your intellect, because that takes a lot of work. Maintaining intensity of intellect takes enormous amount of work. The problem in the spiritual path is just this. You are focused like this, then you see your destiny starts organizing itself in that direction, then you become like this, then you become like this, then you become like this. Then it starts dismantling itself. Every one of you who have come to an engineering program have experienced this at some moment, that when you came to the program, suddenly it looked like your life was on a trajectory, boom. But then you slowly distracted yourself, it dismantles itself. You need to understand, when you set a trajectory, you should stay if you want to fly. If you do this… Anyway, this way all of us are going. Hello? Now everybody thinks they're going like this. There's no proof for that. For this there is proof. Do you have proof that you're going up? No. There is proof that you will definitely go down, unless you're one of those who can afford to be buried in Mars. No, the planet needs you. Even if you're not useful when you're alive, when you're dead, planet likes you. Yes, really, Mother Earth wants to get you back. Please don't deny her that. When we talk about devotion being the way, people think devotion means going to the temple, going to church or mosque. People think devotion means religion. No. Devotion means you're organizing your emotion in such a way that it works for you, absolutely. Because it is only in emotion, it is only in moments of emotion have you touched the sweetest part of who you are, isn't it so? Have you intellectually touched that? Very few in the world, believe me. Very few in the world intellectually touch a sweet spot. Most of you have touched the sweet spot of your life only in emotion, isn't it? So, devotion means organizing your subjectivity in such a way the emotional dimension of who you are is always for you, never against you. For this, you need to hitch it there and live it. Destiny is fixed. Most beautiful moments of your life are moments of emotion, isn't it? Well, it might not have lasted, that's another problem. That may be lack of management. You're not able to manage the situation the way you want because your emotions, your subjectivity is enslaved to the objectivity of the world. And I want you to understand, nobody in this world ever manages their objective world absolutely. We can manage it to some extent. Sometimes it works for us, sometimes it doesn't work for us. Isn't it so? Sometimes it works for us, we want it to work for us, but not always it works for us. But our subjectivity should work for us, always, because this is ours. These people may work for you sometimes, sometimes they'll turn against you, sometimes they'll ignore you. Is this so? Even if you are having a grand love affair? Hello? Even if you're having a grand love affair, sometimes they are wonderful to you, sometimes they ignore you, sometimes they trouble you seriously. I must have told you this story. An old yogi came to Velangiri Hills. Velangiri Hills means it's at the foothills of Velangiri that Isha Yoga Center is. It's a hard climb, about 5,800 feet, but steep climb. Over 80 years of age. Slowly he was wanting to climb the hill to go up because there is a sacred space up there. The shopkeepers who were sitting there, the idiots never went up the mountain, they sit at the foothills and do business. So they are selling this and that, some eatables and bidi, tobacco and this kind of stuff. Sitting there smoking, they look at this yogi and say, "Hey, old man, do you know how high this hill is? Even we have not gone there. You think you, old coot, can go up this mountain?" The yogi looked at them and said, and smiled and said, "See, I have already put my heart up there. The rest of the body anyway will follow, you don't worry about me. My heart is up there already, I will anyway go. Where your heart is, anyway you will go there, isn't it? So this is what using your emotion to handle your subjectivity means, that you fix your heart there, no change about it, it's already there. If you look this way, if you look that way, do whatever, this just keeps pulling you in the same direction.
The sadhana is essentially towards using your emotional intelligence. When we say emotional intelligence, today it's being identified in the world. For a long time, we thought intelligence means just IQ. See, this is not a… IQ means I stand in the queue. That means always behind somebody. This is the nature of the intellect. Intellect is always trying to imitate and be one-up. Wanting to be better than somebody is also an imitation of somebody, isn't it? This is not the nature of emotional intelligence. It doesn't need any information. It can just embrace everything and know it. It can feel its way through life. It need not stand in a queue. It need not stand behind somebody. It need not try to be better than somebody. It's simply a way of being involved with life, knowing life by involvement, not by dissection. This is the difference between intellect and emotion. Essentially, we are trying to do a little better than the monkeys. That's evolution. Yes. The nature of the intellect is, right now the way it is for most human beings, it is a useless instrument unless there is a bank of information. There is no information. Most people do not know how to use their intellect. When you embrace somebody, you are also allowing yourself to be embraced. Otherwise it will not happen. Only I will embrace you, you cannot embrace me. It doesn't work like that. When I embrace, I am also embraced. So this is a way of embracing the divine rather than dissecting the divine. Intellect tries to know everything by cutting it open, by dissection. Emotion knows things by embrace, by inclusion. So the sadhana is essentially to heighten your emotional intelligence, because it's so much of an easier way of doing things. If you want to dissect the ultimate, if you want to dissect the divine, that's not a good thing and you won't get anywhere with it. The best way is to embrace. So the sadhana is essentially about this. Devotion means just that. Devotion is not about dissecting the divine, it's about dancing with the divine, becoming one with it. Essentially, to heighten your emotional intelligence so that your ability to live well is not dependent upon being better than somebody. Your ability to live well is by your own innate nature, not because you're better than somebody. You don't have to prove that you're better than somebody. Never ever can anybody wait and say, okay, this person loves more than the other person. There is no such thing. Quantities do not apply to emotional intelligence. When quantities do not apply, the high and low disappear, big and small disappear. Life becomes as it is. Is ant a more important life than you, or you a more important life than the ant? If you think you are more important, you have a gross mind. Your ability to live well is by your own innate nature, not because you're better than somebody. You don't have to prove that you're better than somebody. You don't even have to try to be better than somebody. This is emotional intelligence. There is no hierarchy in this. Once intellect enters this, if you say love, who loves most? There is no such thing. Do I love Dhyanalinga more or you love Dhyanalinga more? Do I love this turtle more or you love this turtle more? Do I love this monkey more or you love this monkey more? Nobody can decide this. You do not understand that ant considers its life as important as you consider your life, probably more. He's got more limbs than you, probably doing more useful things, he's more organized than you, we don't know what else. Probably their population is more. If you give them the voting rights, they would win, hands down. So the sadhana is essentially oriented towards that. It's a simple structure, but if you give yourself, it does miraculous things to you. A lot of people cannot understand that something so simple can do something like this to a human being, because they dissect it and see. If I dissect you and see, let us say you are a great singer. Wow, you sing so well, let me see what is in your vocal cords. And I will dissect your vocal cords and look in, I will not find any music, because that is not the way life works. So dissection will take you to a place where everything will become meaningless. So, intellect is always trying to set one thing against the other. It is your intellect which has created conflict. It is your emotion which can bring this together. But if emotion follows intellect, emotion will also become a deadly conflict. If your intellect follows the emotion, then there would be no conflict, there would be sweetness in the world, there would be wonderful situations in the world. If you apply your intellect to every aspect of your life, you will turn everything into meaningless rubbish. This is what is happening in the life of an intellectual, that everything looks meaningless and rubbish. But if you apply our emotion, everything becomes valuable and beautiful. Every little thing becomes… a blade of grass becomes poetry. As simply a wave of the branch becomes a song. But if you apply your intellect, everything can be reduced to rubbish. Everything becomes no good. If you apply your emotion, everything becomes great.
Some people find it easier to have their emotions more intense and focused than their intellect. This is what we call emotional intelligence. There are different possibilities of intellect and emotions. Sadhguru says that with devotion, you can transcend your limitations. Click on the video shown above to attain more wisdom from Sadhguru. Do you like the insights by Sadhguru on the ways to focus on yourself? What would you like to see in the next video? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.